Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How you doing out there? Everybody having a good day? All is good? Glad to hear that. We're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth, and sometimes we got to have the tough conversations, and usually it revolves around money, but just a little side topic. I just learned like minutes ago, I don't really watch the regular news. I'm really interested in the numbers and stuff, but I just learned a few minutes ago that in Florida, after June or July, you'll be able to just carry a gun. No concealed permit needed at all. You agree? Kevin says, yep, that's a thing.
Huh.
I just learned. I don't know if that's good or bad. Obviously, that there's a whole discussion around that, but like, I'm here in Florida, so are we just going to see just people walking around?
Yeah, permitless carry seems to July 1. Come July 1, permitless carry will be a thing. So,
I mean, it's not financial related, but like, I'm glad I read that. You know, you walk around, you see somebody, and you're like, well, what's going on there? Huh?
and you don't currently own any guns, do you?
I don't know.
Does that change anything? Not having to do the class and all that? Be permitless? Does that change anything for you?
I just, I kind of prefer people have a little training. It's like me going flying in a plane. You want to know that I had some training, or I just grabbed a plane and started flying?
Still nervous either way, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, apparently that's how we're doing things down here in Florida. Agree, disagree? It doesn't matter. This is not one of those type of shows, but just goes to show you. You read the news, and I'm sure that's an old thing. When did that come out? Was that new? Oh, okay. So I just found out about it. Oh, all right. So either Florida will become safer or really like the Wild West. We're going to find out. We'll let you know and keep you posted here. We're financial advisors. We like to talk about the markets just every now and then. You know, I stumble across regular news, I guess. Interesting. If you'd like to play a game, it's called Guess the Dow. We've got jazzwealth.com/guess the Dow. No violence or guns included there. You just take your guess. If you're the winner, we'll send you a $100 gift card, and apparently you can use it to buy a gun in Florida now if you want. We have a gun show like once a month too. You know that?
Everywhere. Actually, up by you, there's a very big one. But
those
billboards. It's the billboards.
That's what I keep seeing, the billboard. And for a while, I thought like, wow, they're getting a lot of money out of that billboard because they didn't change the date. But no, the date keeps changing.
Yeah.
They just keep cranking them out.
It must be a quarter.
Big money there or something. Anyways, I'll try to stay focused here. The stock market today, not much, very quiet. That's kind of why we have a chance to talk about something else. The stock market is waiting for inflation. Now, the good news, I'm going to tell you exactly where it's going to land. I'm going to give you some data on that. But tomorrow we have the inflation numbers, which are, if you want to look them up, it's called core CPI. So Consumer Price Index. And then there's core CPI, which takes out energy. And the Fed likes to use core CPI, but those two numbers will come out, and you'll get two numbers. One of them will be the month-over-month change, which will be positive, and the other will be the year-over-year change. And that's really the headline number when you see that pop across the screens. The headline number indicates to us whether inflation has moved lower or higher. And so we're widely projecting for inflation to move lower. If we look at the stock market, it says, I don't want to guess. I'll just wait. That's fine. I don't need to guess. We've got the number coming out. So you see this in here, just super, super quiet, not much to work on. It's like we have a known event coming up. Why try to guess? Why not just wait until we see what happens? So that's what we have for the S&P. I don't have a lot to say there. The Dow just a touch higher on the day. Let me see if I can bounce over there because that's likely going to be some of the bigger guys. United Healthcare, another 1.1%, so killing it there. They've got earnings coming up later this week. Caterpillar, $220 stock with a good day. So industrial's doing well. 3M, right, is where all your excitement was today in the Dow. But other than that, it's a test of your patience. Really, can you sit on your hands and wait? Now, the NASDAQ was down a little bit, and it's not really fair, but the NASDAQ is being driven by just a handful of names. Microsoft down 2% on the day, Amazon down on the day, and then, of course, Apple just down a touch. That's really all that's needed to pull the NASDAQ down. That's what you have there. Some bets being made on small cap financials. So remember, we talked about those guys have had the bar lowered the most. Small banks, regional, semi-regional banks. They've had the bar lowered where analysts are saying, we don't think you're going to do very well. We predict that this is going to be a problem to your bottom line and the amount of money you can collect in interest. So they've lowered the bar there. Today, a little bit more action. People saying, that's not going to be that bad. I think I'll take some bets. So if you take a look at the small caps today, that is your standout index, and for mostly that reason. If you look at the price of oil, slight increase there. However, still inside of the range from getting the news that OPEC has decided to cut production 1% of the global production supply. So it's not that big of a deal. And then interest rates actually moving a little bit higher. There's now a 72% chance that the Fed is going to raise rates a quarter point. We have a ways to go. And after tomorrow, that number could change dramatically. So no need to really get all concerned just yet. After tomorrow, we'll see those odds change quite a bit, and we'll probably talk about them. All right, so we've got inflation coming in tomorrow. You want to know what it's going to be? Here's my best prediction. The headline number will show, it currently shows 6.04%. I expect that we'll see that drop to 5.1 to 5.12%. It's a big jump, or a big decline. Think about what that does. Now it puts your basic savings right in line with inflation, meaning it's not costing you to save money. When was the last time you could say that? It's been a while, right? So I think we'll be closer to 5%. I'm going 5.1 to 5.12. Core CPI, I'm thinking at 5.6%. And this one's kind of easy. I'm going to show you how we come to this here, because this is fairly easy to calculate. If you look at the core CPI weighting, how do they come up with this? It's 100% made up of all of these categories. Rent makes up 32%. So you're going to see that rents were up by less than 1% month over month. There's been some problems over there, so we can actually track that, and we'll get into that in a second. Used car prices will make up the bulk of what we're talking about in that category, right? So that'll be a focus as well. If you look at used car prices, you have at least a 0.5% rise there. We talked about that the other day. Used car prices actually on the upswing there, good for them. And the other part is airfare, which, where do we have it there? Rent, lodging, public transportation, recreation, sports, airfare. Oh, there's rent primary residence as well, just to put that in there so you can see that part. And airfare is going to fall under the transportation ex public. So this, if I typed it out, I would have just put airfare there. But you got 6% there, and we find that airfare are down at least 2%. Now, we can actually track some of this stuff. You can look at what they call leading data to tell, well, what's going on there. Leading data would be data that you get somewhat in real time, whereas the inflation number is a bit backward looking. Well, we can look through the used car prices. I've shared this here with you before. If you look at used car prices in general from Manheim and Car Gurus, most popular there, they have you can connect directly to their data and get that. And J.D. Power, you can see a slight uptick here in used car prices. So that's perfectly fine there. It's a little less for new cars, by the way, not quite an impact there. They've had a lot more incentives that they've had to give out, though those are drying up and everything. And so when we put that together, rent's up less than 1%, used car prices up 0.5%, and we already know airfares will be down at least 2%. You have a recipe for where you can say core CPI is actually going to show about 5.6%, and our main headline CPI number, 5.12%. You want to take your guesses? What do you think is going to happen there? With inflation, doesn't matter. We're going to find out tomorrow, but it's good news. It also is, it's another thing that shows the Fed is getting exactly what they want. You can doom and gloom as much as you want, but for the moment, the data leans towards they're doing okay. As much as I want to be one of those guys that plays Monday morning quarterback and says I could have done it better, I know I couldn't have, but they're getting what they want. They're slowing things down at a gradual enough pace to not put everything into a tailspin, at least for the moment. Of course, we change our little minds day by day, and so we're going to find out tomorrow what happens. Now, the rest of the week will be more in depth because we have inflation, obviously, tomorrow. That helps. That's going to be movement. You're going to see movement in the bond market. You're going to see movement in consumer discretionary. You're going to see movement across the board, basically in airlines and things like that, based on what the number comes out as. And then from there, we have the start of earnings season. right, with the big banks reporting, and then United Healthcare being one that's going to come out as well. That should be kind of interesting. So we will see, and of course, we will be here to talk about it. Stocks in the news here today. CarMax is saying, aha, Carvana looked good for a while there, but now we're coming back and swinging up and competing still. Better than expected earnings. Total revenues were down for them just a little bit versus what was expected there, but they said we are on track. Our growth prospects remain consistent. We are seeing the uptick in used car prices and are able to capitalize on that. So good for them. That was them. Oh, Moderna. So I don't play these stocks. This actually wasn't bad. Down 3% for the day. Their flu shot vaccine they've been working on for a while is not testing very positively, which is interesting that they're so much effort's being put into that and successfully found out that it's not good for them. I don't like those biotech stocks. They're difficult there. Alphabet got fined some more money for anti-competitive practices there as it pertains to, you know how there's the iPhone store and then Alphabet's version is the Play Store, right? It's the Play Store. Same thing, just around the world, all through the EU, they're kind of going after them. And so they're putting them on the chopping block, asking for some money from them. And changes, by the way. Newmont Mining comes out with their, I guess you have to call it their revised takeover offer of a company called Newcrest, not based here in the U.S. And they said, okay, we're going to pay $32.87 for 100% of the shares, and you can still pay out your $1.10 in dividends, which was a bargaining chip for them. And they said, hey, this is our best and final offer unless another offer comes along, and then we want a chance to make another offer. So now they go into due diligence mode. It's just like any normal takeover that's going to be all stock. So that is that one. And for those of you that are hoping for some sort of miraculous recovery in Bed Bath & Beyond, they will have their earnings tomorrow. I don't know what to say about that. That is literally clinging to the very lifeline that, if they even have a lifeline after selling those shares, they probably already went through the cash. But that will come out tomorrow and no doubt be at least something to talk about that may get drowned up in the inflation numbers, but we will see. Jazz After Dark tonight. You want to see something cool? I'm going to take you behind the scenes of Jazz Wealth, show you into our back end, and kind of show you how many emails we get, how did we answer them, and how we responded and everything. So you're going to get to see the data of the back end of Jazz Wealth here. And I'm going to use that to justify my point. I will answer some of those questions publicly that we've gotten that clients said it's okay to answer, but I did it totally impromptu. So there was no preparing. I'm not cherry picking. I just literally put up the screen and said, here we go. So if you want to see some of that, that'll be tonight, Jazz After Dark. I'll take your questions now because that's all I got. There's not much else to talk about there. We've already talked and prepared you for earnings, what to expect there. We broke it down by category, industry, and sector to show you what's going on there. So we are ahead of the game, as we like to be here. And so I'll pull this up and see what I can do with your questions there. That's some of the comments about the gun thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Volatility keeps falling. Yeah, even despite known events coming up there. Maybe they can save it by Bed Bath & Beyond, Man Cave, and beyond. That'd be cool. There was one in Atlanta, I think. I was going through Atlanta, and I'm like, it's like a man cave store. That's kind of brilliant, in a way. I didn't stop in, but it was one of those that I'd like to catch one day. What always frustrated me is Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't sell beds. Why not sell beds? Apparently Mattress Firm is killing it over there. You seen that going around the internet?
Conspiracy theory?
Yeah, well, it's not a conspiracy. It's real.
It's something I can get behind, absolutely.
There's a Mattress Firm over here, down towards the end of Ulmerton here. There's a Mattress Firm on one corner and then literally across the street. Same brand.
People need their mattresses, man.
I don't know what's happening there. So that's coming up. We need Morgan & Morgan to look into that, man.
We should do an investigation series on Mattress Firm.
We should. I'm telling you, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but this is not adding up in my head. I'm a numbers guy, and I just don't see those numbers adding up. Yeah. Anyways, and technically they still don't sell Beyond. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, maybe if they sold mattresses, that would do it, because these guys apparently are killing it. Yeah. So prices of pre-owned vehicles are going to come down. They're actually going up at the moment, and I shared that with you, of course, earlier in the other day. And where that started from, if you really want to see, kind of project into the future, you look at auction prices. So a lot of analysts will cover auction prices first, and then consider that a bleed over into the retail category of whether we're going to pay more or less. Auction prices have been going up. But that's one way to just kind of look forward and say, hey, I'm going to buy a car this summer. You know, what am I looking at? Yeah. What's the record number of likes on the closing beat? Is there a record?
I'm in February right now, 270 so far this year, but
Oh, you're actually
probably I'm looking. Yeah,
You're actually
322 on one there. Maybe COVID. You did well during COVID.
did well during COVID. Okay.
did, yeah.
Wow, you're actually looking it up.
I was curious. It's a good question.
Oh, there you go. You want your data, you get your data. Okay, that's very interesting. Yeah, it's true. You could also look at steel prices as well. A little bit of a lagging indicator there because of the production time, but auction prices would be the closest way to get at least a short-term view of what's happening there. Be safe on July 1st. Yeah, right. We'll see how that goes. That shows how much I watch the news, like the regular news. That just happened to catch it and was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Beginner question, sold a covered call and it closed in the money, but the shares were not called away and received another $111. So you sold a covered call, it closed in the money, and the shares were not called away. And you didn't sell a covered call, or maybe you didn't sell, if you had like 500 shares, maybe you sold one covered call. Maybe you didn't sell enough of them. Maybe. Yeah. That's the best I got for you there without any more detail, because that should not have happened. That would not happen there. Hey, here's a political one for you. You gonna just do it?
Jeez.
It has to do with money.
Oh, okay.
The executive order for the SBDC. Or no, they don't call it the SBD. The central bank digital currency. I had to read through. It was like, I think it was 400 and something pages. Within 180 days, we will be seeing the first round of that.
Yeah, that one hasn't come across my desk, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I started reading through it because I was curious. Like, okay, is there a story here or is there not? But you can move money at the speed of light. I saw people online. They're like, I'm cool with it. You don't have to move money that fast. I don't want you knowing where I spend my money. Oh, man. I love it, man. Okay, I will wrap it up there now that I've maybe got you guys fired up. We'll be back tomorrow, of course. We'll have the numbers there. We'll see how I did compared to what the numbers actually come out to be. And, you know, if I'm right, then we'll put on a celebratory hat. And if I'm wrong, I'll just pretend like I never said anything, you know, like the other stock people on a YouTube. That bothers me. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.